Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do 3 eye looks for you guys featuring the Metropolis palette by Natasha Denona. This currently is my favorite Natasha Denona palette. I really love this palette. It was released as part of the 5-year anniversary. This was the palette that she introduced a new formula. I'm just going to read you how the website describes it. It says it's 28 brand new shades and 1 new formula of Natasha Denona's iconic quality pigmented eyeshadows. This new formula will feature a hybrid creamy pressed powder, leaving you with maximum color payoff. The limited edition 28 shade eyeshadow palette is inspired by New York City color scheme of the 20th century. Metropolis includes astonishing browns alongside bold green and blue chromes, velvety mattes, and sparkling metallic textures. These shadows are packed with the highest quality ingredients to create buttery soft shades that blend seamlessly to achieve vibrant, ultra pigmented, long-lasting looks. This palette is user-friendly to everyone and much beloved. Yes, this was the palette. She introduced that new formula that I feel like is very divisive. People either love it or hate it. I love this palette so much that I actually have a backup of it. But this is what my current one looks like. It's a hot mess because, like I've said several times, much loved palette. It's a beautiful palette. It is still available. If you do not have this palette and you are a Natasha Denona fan, I cannot recommend enough to you to go get this palette. If you don't have any Natasha Denona, I can't recommend enough that you go get this palette. I hope with the 3 eye looks I do today, I show that even though there's a lot of color going on here and it looks like a lot, you can really get some good neutral everyday eye looks out of this palette. This is not a palette to be afraid of by any means. If you're new to my channel, welcome. So glad to have you. It's an honor that any of you have taken the time to click on my video and have given me moments out of your day. It blows me away that anyone watches these things. Thank you so much. You can't imagine what it means to me. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. For those of you that already do subscribe, wow. It's funny, I'm about to say something I never thought I would say. I see YouTubers do it all the time. And I'm like, really? But thank you. I love you guys for doing this, for subscribing and watching. It really does touch my heart. Thank you so much. I can't get too sappy about this. Anyway, I'm going to do this eye look I'm wearing for you today and 2 other eye looks if you want to see me show you how I got this look and the 2 others. Please keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different today. For the first 2 looks, I'm just going to do 1 look on my right eye and 1 look on my left eye. To be quite honest, to save a little bit of time and also to cut down on the face washing and the rubbing of mascara off of my lashes, to be quite honest. I feel like I'm abusing my lashes a little bit and I really don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to start on the left eye. On this eye, I'm going to do just a nice, neutral, everyday, wear anywhere kind of look. Daytime look, work look. Just a nice neutral look with this palette. I'm going to start off with a Wayne Goss 03 and the shade Rope. I'm going to lay this down as my transition shade. I'm starting it off first, just working through the crease. Now I'm going to go in with a Wayne Goss number 18 brush in that same shade. I'm just going to use this to lay the shade over this outer portion of my lid and work it into the crease a little more. Same brush and the shade Chrism. I pack this onto this outer corner. Going about halfway onto the lid. I'm going to start working it into the crease. The shade Queen. This is just a more rich brown. Those first two shades, I was just thinking of them as, of course, the first is a transition shade. The second as almost like a blend shade. And something to add a little more dimension other than just a shade of brown. That second shade has a touch of an orangeness to it, just to bring something besides brown into this look. I'm sorry, you guys, I just realized I called that last shade Queen, and it is not Queen. That last shade is Pure. I'm so sorry. BK Beauty 205 and Antique. I'm going to really start to deepen this outer corner, but not super deep, because like I said, I'm thinking of this as just an everyday, go anywhere look. I definitely want this to be kind of V'd out, but I'm not looking for it to be super sharp. Just want it to be kind of rounded out this way for a more gentle angled eye. Why do I do that? Why do I say two words and pause and say two words and pause? I'm going to use that same shade, but this time a Wayne Goss number 20 brush, just so I can really concentrate that pigment right on this outside corner, just for one more layer of dimension. BK Beauty 203 and Mace. I'm patting this over the center of the lid and over onto the darker shades, all the way up to the crease. Surratt Medium Classic, and this time this is the shade Queen. Just taking this all the way into the inside corner and pulling it over onto the lid, all the way up to the crease, and kind of up the inside corner of the nose right here. And not everybody likes to put shadow right in here. The inside corners of my nose are a little bit deep set and can be kind of dark. So I like to put a little something in there. Taking that all the way up to the top of my brow right there. I'm going to take a little bit of that same shade and the same brush. I'm going to take the Surratt Classic brush in small and use it to just intensify that shade, same shade Queen, in this inner corner. If you're wondering what's on my head, I was trying to protect my hair a little bit. It's just the little terry cloth bow. You can get them on Amazon. I think there's like $10 or something for 4 of them, 4 or 5, and they come in different little colors. They're just a silly cute thing I put on sometimes when I'm putting makeup on. Sigma E45 and Pure. Esom S31 and that shade Pure. Just using this to blend that shade along my lower lash line. Being sure to blend up onto the upper lid. Always be sure to close that off right there. Same brush and a little bit of that shade Antique. I'm going to show you guys two different things with the lower lash line. If you really just want to stay like with this palette, this color palette, and really keep it nice and neutral, I like to go in with my Marc Jacobs highliner in Rococo and just get that waterline. Try not to do this in a way that'll gross you out. This is a really beautiful brown shade. It's got just a tiny bit of shimmer. I really like it. It darkens up the eye, but it's not black, and it's not just pure brown. I'm going to swatch it right here on my hand for you so you can get an idea of what it looks like. It's just a nice rich brown, and if you saw just the pencil in the store, I don't think you'd realize that the shade was quite the color that it is. So that's one way you can finish out the lower eyelid, but something I like to do that's just a little punch of color, but it's really more of a punch of fun, kinda. And it really, I think, brings out the brown in the eye look, if that makes sense, is to take a Marc Jacobs highliner in the shade Wavelength and do the same thing. I'm going to see if it'll go over this Rococo. Hopefully that's coming across. I'm so afraid that it's not as navy as it normally is because I put that Rococo down first. Never actually done that since I was just doing it as a demonstration. But hopefully you can see enough of the navy to get an idea of just how that kind of changes the look a little bit and adds a little something unexpected to a neutral brown eye, just to throw on a little navy eyeliner. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next eye, and then we'll do the final liner and lashes and brows all at the same time. Okay, for the next eye, I'm also going to do some neutral kind of brown shades, but we're going to add in some reds and probably a little hit of turquoise. Scott Barnes 62 and Ripe. That same shade on a Rephr 01 brush. As usual, I'm just picking a more dense brush just to take that same shade and deepen it to add a richness and depth to the color that's already laid down. Same brush and Claret or Claret, I'm really not sure how to say that shade name. I'm keeping this a little lower in the crease. I want some of that red shade to kind of peek out onto the lid a little bit. I'm going to go in with my Scott Barnes 63 brush and that shade Enigma. It's a deep navy shade. Rephr 01 and Chrism. Rephr 01 and Helena. Morphe 124 and Blaze. I'm going to go back in with my Scott Barnes 62 brush and that shade Ripe and just add a little bit more of the orange right at the top of this. I feel like it got lost a little bit. I'm going to pick some of that shade Helena up on my finger and just pat it right here on the lid. That Morphe 124 brush and that shade Blaze. Just going to pat that right in this very center. And what's left on the brush, I'm just going to hit right under the brow. I feel like that shade Enigma got lost right here where with my droopy eyelid. So I'm just going back in with a little bit of that just to push it up over that droop. I know I've said this before, but for any of you out there that, like me, are more mature and things are starting to head south, always remember to either try to do your shadow with your eyes mostly open, but even if you do that, sit back and look in the mirror. Open your eyes, perfectly normal, like this, and look in the mirror and see if you're seeing what you wanted to see, what you thought you were going to see. Because this thing is like a cloak. This is that Scott Barnes 63 brush, but I've not picked up any shadow. I'm just running it along this edge just to blur and soften. Wayne Goss number 20 and Ripe. Refer 03 and Sequoia. I really want to try to keep this right at my lash line. Just kind of dragging that shade with the very tip of this brush. I'll show you the tip of this brush in just a second. And letting it kind of wing out. Full disclosure, it did get a little bit wet right here. So this Refer 03 brush really tapers down to a very, very, very fine point. So that's why I was able to wing that out like that. So I have that same shade on that Morphe 124 brush. I'm going to take this and just pat it right on my waterline. And because that's a wet area, it's going to cause that shadow to act like a wet shadow. Now this is a glittery eyeshadow shade. It's probably a pressed pigment. So do not do this at your own risk. This part right here. You make your own decision about whether or not this is okay. You're okay with putting this shade this close to your eye. Now, you can just leave this like this, or we can wet this Morphe brush with some MAC Fix Plus, pick up that same shade, and we can go into this inner corner. And along this lash line. It's not done. Going back into that shade in a portion of it that you didn't touch with a wet brush. I'm using the Surratt Small Classic, and I'm going to use it with some dry shade just to cause that color just to diffuse out and blend in with those coppers. I'm just doing the same thing right down here, just to soften the edge of that wet shadow. The wet shadow is so harsh. Picking up that Wayne Goss number 20 brush that had that shade Ripe on it. I'm not picking up any more shadow. I'm just using it to diffuse out this line. I use a different concealer today. And, oh, my dark circles are shining through. Alright, so I'm going to real quick throw on some Milk Boss eyeliner in my upper tight line and put on some mascara on both eyes, do my brows, and we'll look at these two eye looks finished. Okay guys, so here is the first two looks complete. Full disclosure, I did go back in on this eye and add some more of that Marc Jacobs highliner. It really didn't apply real well that first time. I actually took it and held it over, not right over, don't hold it right over, above, held it above a lit candle I have over here, just enough to let it just get a tiny bit of heat to it, and applied that eyeliner again just to really lay down that navy. But yeah, there you have the everyday eye look with a little touch of navy if you'd like, and then something just a little different with some more orangey browns and a little surprise of blue there. I'm going to move in a little. You can see where my dry eyes, which translates into crazy watering eyes, have struck right there. Yeah. Now let's move on to the third and final look. Okay, now for the third and final look, Wayne Goss 03 and that shade Rope. Really bringing this shade all the way up to the front of my brow, all the way over. Wayne Goss number 18 and the shade Lethal. I honestly think this might be my favorite shade in this entire palette. I love this olivey, army green shade so much. I think it's this shade that dictates this being like my go-to eye look with this palette. Hopefully my watery eye situation will not ruin this eye look. So I've had the watery eye problem for some time. I had been chalking it up to allergies. But when I went to the eye doctor a couple of weeks ago, it turns out that the watering eyes is your body overcompensating for dry eyes. So the treatment regimen I'm on for dry eyes includes warm compresses to the eyes a couple of times a day. And I sort of didn't have time to do that yesterday, and I think that's why my eye's watering so bad. I'm just trying to really build this color up. I really like for this color to be the foundation of this eye look. Refer 01 and the shade Troop. Scotburn 63 and Royal. I had to go to speech therapy when I was really little, and that's the letter combination that I struggled with. Words like royal and world, they really, really trip me up. The Refro one in Troop again. The Wayne Goss number 20 in that shade Lethal. For 02 Infuse. I'm just going to pat the shade right at the edge of those greens, just onto the lid. Okay, so I did it again. You know how the Natasha Denona palette, the protective flap pulls up? So I keep reading the wrong shade. I'm sorry, guys. That was not Fuse. That was Noble. It was Noble that I patted right here. I'm sorry. This, however, is the shade Fuse. I'm just trying to create a slight gradient on this lid. Same brush. This is Penny. I'm going to go back in and add a little bit of the shade Shield right over in this outer corner. I'm going to kind of drag that over into the crease just a little. Scotburn 61 and a little bit more of that shade Penny. Wayne Goss 07 and Lethal. Getting the shade all in the inside corner and working up the side to the brow. Almost making a C. Morphe 124 in that shade Lethal. Highlight the very center of the lid. Same brush in the shade Orium. take my finger and pick up that shade Penny. I do want to point out, I use these shades all the time. They're my favorite shades in this palette. But you can see the amount of fallout you get with these shades. It's pretty significant. I wish I could tell you exactly what shades it is, but I can't. I feel like it's almost all of the greens and the bronzes, to be honest with you. Picking up a little bit more of that shade Orium. The shade's a beautiful duochrome. I'm going to have to get some of this fallout off of my face, though. I feel like it's cluttering this look. We're about to get it off so we can do this lower lash line anyway. We're just about done with this upper lid. Just going to get it close so you guys can see just the amount of fallout I'm talking about. And I realize I did a lot of shadow layers for this look, but that's a lot of fallout. It looks like most of it is that shade Penny. I'm going to use my Sigma F06 Power Sweep brush to sweep some of this away. This brush looks like this. It literally, to me, makes me think of a broom. It's literally what it looks like to me. It is a brush designed to sweep away your bake. So it just naturally does a good job as you sweep away that bake. The bake's there to catch all that fallout. It sweeps away that fallout also. I have a little bit right, managed to get even on my upper lip. Refer 15 and rope. It's a fairly large brush, so I'm squinting to keep it from getting in my eye. BK Beauty 202 and Lethal. That same shade and a Sonia G Crease 1. That same shade and a Sonia G Crease 1. Esom S31 and Troop. Sonia G Pencil 1 and Imperial. Then one last hit of Imperial. Marc Jacobs Highliner in Sunset. One last pass with a Wayne Goss 20 and that shade Rope. Just right. I always like to go in with like my original transition shade and just blend my lower lash line eyeshadow just to soften the edge. Probably to transition. Okay, that just about finishes up this eye look. I'm gonna go off camera and put on some upper liner eyeliner, the Milk Boss eyeliner, do my lashes and my brows, and come back and show the final look and wrap this thing up. Hi guys, so this is a close-up look of the final look. Like I said, I finished off the look with Milk Boss eyeliner in my upper tight line and actually used some Milk Kush mascara to finish off the look. I did, when I was finishing off my face, I put a little Benefit Cookie highlighter on, and I did take some of it and put in the inside corner of my eye and just under my brow. That's what you're seeing. That's slightly different than when I went off camera to finish up. But I'm going to come in real close and let you get a good look. Like I said, this is my favorite look to do with the Metropolis palette. Okay guys, well that's it. That's the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you actually made it through the whole thing. Oh my God, I love you so much. If you're not a subscriber and you did make it through the whole thing, maybe you should consider subscribing. I like to do these eyeshadow tutorials. I'm going to have some more coming. I do new releases when they come out, but I've been pulling from my collection recently and doing eye looks that I like to do on a day-to-day basis. If there's a palette that you enjoy or a palette you're considering getting or a palette you've thought about and you want to see an eye look for that palette, please let me know down below, and if I have it, I'll be glad to do a look for you. I have a lot of palettes. There's a good chance I have it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and again, I think whenever I ask you to subscribe, I'm supposed to ask you to give me a big thumbs up. It seems so silly to ask for that. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and consider hitting the subscribe button. Thanks, y'all. Bye.